And welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to your Retirement with Insurance 365. We do this on the third Saturday of every month here on News Talk WJAG at 7:30 in the morning. Jay Kenobi is with us and Angela Cradaville from Insurance 365. You can find them online at insuranceagency365.com. They're located at 711 South 13th here in Norfolk, and you can call them at 402-371-3136. And what we talk about on this program is getting ready for retirement, getting the help that you need, the advice that you need, and especially for people like me. If you're within 10 years of retirement, it's time to get your ducks in a row. When we talk about getting your ducks in a row, like maybe, Jay, we'll start with this, long-term health insurance. And we talked a little bit about this last month, didn't we?
Well, long-term care specifically, I want to talk about today and just how many people are concerned with the inflation of the services provided.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jeffrey, that's becoming very apparent with the people, 78, 80, 85 years old. They're coming in and saying, Jay, I did buy. They're either saying one of two things. I did buy Jay, and I bought it 20 or 25 years ago. And the guy's name was so-and-so, and he's now retired.
Yeah.
And here's my product. And, boy, it pays, $4,000 or $5,000 a month. And now they're worried because they're hearing their friends say, or their sister was in, or their brother was in, and they're saying, Jay, it's 8 to 10, sometimes $12,000 a month. So you're seeing a lot of people addressing that inflation issue.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the insurance policies didn't gauge them high enough. Usually inflation is built in, Jeffrey, but it's a concern because they're saying, okay, now I have a policy for $4,000 a month and I'm going to need $8,000. Now I'm 82 years old. Can I still get it?
Yeah.
That is one thing that they're bringing in. And the other thing they're bringing in is most common is I've just avoided it. I didn't want to talk about it. And now I'm maybe widowed. And now I realize I need to talk about it, but I am 83 years old.
Yeah, and the kids are kind of in this with me. But, it's hard. I guess in their defense, from 25 years ago, I don't know if anybody would have thought that healthcare in this country would be where it is today.
No, and long-term care in the 80s and 90s, Jeffrey, a lot of companies were in it. A lot of companies got involved in it. It was a product that was out there. They called it nursing home insurance. It kind of evolved into the word long-term care.
Sure.
And what happened was companies went broke. They offered lifetime benefits. So lifetime benefits meant you went in at 72 or 74 and you lived to 92. The company was paying out benefits for 20 years and they were collecting premiums. I've seen a lot of people that paid premiums to start with of $200 a year for a long-term care policy.
Yeah, that ain't going to get it done.
And shame on the insurance industry. They're the ones that, they provided that. They said, hey, $200 and we'll cover you. So people bought it. Well, looking back now, actuarially speaking, that was very, very wrong. Mm-hmm. And so companies have bailed out. Companies have changed their rates. Companies have offered people, here's a settlement. Here's the settlement, and here's $15,000, and let's both walk away from the contract. That's been popular too.
Wow.
So yeah, people, I really, really feel bad for the people 75 and up right now. Because it was very much the thing to do. Your neighbors did it. You did it. There was a lot of agents doing it. There's not a lot of agents today want to touch long-term care. Mm-hmm. It's one of those subjects people say, And so we really, in our office, the first meeting is me listening to you to see your situation. See what was your experience in your life with long-term care. And most of them, unfortunately, 75 to 85 right now are saying, I bought it, but it's gone from $200 up to $3,000. So quite a rate increase.
And actually, that's a pretty good rate, to be honest with you. I mean, I've looked into this.
Yeah, it's a good rate today when you're 82 to pay only $3,000.
Yeah.
But they're telling their kids only half my care is going to be covered.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
So, that's just a conversation. Like anything we talk about, Jeffrey, in retirement, it's worth having the conversation. You may not buy anything, but get yourself some clarity on what you have. I met with a gentleman this week that, he said, I bought a policy years ago, and he says, now I'm 72, and it pays $3,000 a month. Well, that's just not enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now he's 72 and he's like, should I buy more, Jay? We just talked about it. We
It's like
didn't.
trying
We
to
didn't.
buy life insurance after you've already gotten the diagnosis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So long-term care is just really a subject when you talk about retirement. It's probably the worst subject. Honestly, it's not one that people like to talk about.
Yeah.
I mean, they can talk about life insurance and it's pretty black and white. I'm either here, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Long-term care, you're talking about you needing care. So now, when you're dead, you're dead. But when we start talking about, hey, how's it going to be in St. Joe's? People just get a little.
I don't want to talk about that because I'm not going to go there. That's not going to be me. And
It's not going to be me.
yeah.
That's exactly right. It's not going to be me.
That's not going to be me.
My
And
back's not going to give out. My arthritis is going to be okay.
I'm different. I'm different than everybody else.
So it's not a subject that I really try to say much in. I more listen, and then in the end just find a solution, because people, probably the people that have it, the thing they don't understand, you can have two policies. Jeffrey, I even hear that with life insurance. Well, I have a policy. It's not illegal to have three.
Mm-hmm.
But people need to be told that. There's a lot of people listening today think you can only have one long-term care policy.
Okay.
That's not true.
So pick up another one and pair it with what you've already had, maybe,
Yep.
or so.
And-
So what can a guy like me, not to change the subject, and this is Insurance 365. We're talking to Jay Kenobi and Angela Cradaville here. This is Your Retirement on News Talk WJG. We're talking about long-term care and how maybe the policies that you bought 20, 30 years ago aren't paying out what you need in order to receive this benefit. The costs are through the roof. So what can a guy like me at around 60 years of age learn from this?
Well, the thing that you have to learn is you look at the numbers of the majority. Let's not be politicians and single out one thing.
Okay.
Let's start. What is the average person's claim? And what is the average time period? What is the average year you incur the claim? I like to tell those numbers because we can all talk about the one aunt who went in the Alzheimer's unit for 15 years. We can all talk about the one uncle who had a car accident and he was in there 20 years.
Yeah, not average.
Yeah, you're grasping for just instances and you're trying to make it sound normal.
I believe most men are about 18 months, maybe 2 years. For women, maybe 3. So I'm guessing
close.
that's about what the actuarial science says on that.
Yep. So when you insure yourself, you look at that, unless you have a history in your family of Alzheimer's. Now, if you have parents who had Alzheimer's, brother, sister, you may say, wait a minute. If your doctor has said to you, I see you slipping over the years, you may think differently about long-term care.
Yeah.
I get a lot of, honestly, the conversation that most happens, Jeffrey, is you're together. And I'll say to the wife, will you take care of him? And then I'll look at the husband and say, will you take care of her? When one passes, that option's gone. So that's when most people will come in and say, it's now time to talk.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Long-term care. Have that conversation. Jay Kenobi is with us. Angela Cradaville, she's over here. We're getting into Medicare season. Are we going to talk about Medicare, Angela?
We can touch base over annual election period is coming up.
She is, we talk about it. We kind of joke about this on the show. It starts in mid-October, runs through the 7th of December. So we're right on top of this. So Angela, she's got her game face on today, right, Jay? The game face is on.
Yes, we have a few emotions.
Yeah, well, and she's taking care of that for you. So because we talk about this all the time, talk to somebody who really understands this. Talk to somebody who can guide you through your selections. And you can make different selections. This is open season, right? This is when you can do that. You're not pigeonholed into a selection that you made 3 or 4 years ago. That's something that we've learned on this program. You do have options, and she can walk you through them. You want to talk to somebody who knows what they're doing.
Right. And I want to make sure people understand, too, this is not just open enrollment for, your supplements. Supplements you can change anytime during the year. I've gotten a few phone calls on that, wanting to look at supplements because they need to do it now, and that's false. They said, well, have your rates changed? No, they haven't. I just thought I had to do it at this time. Supplements you can only do, or you can do at any time, and that's going to be subject to underwriting, which that means your health insurance or your physical health comes into play at that time. But you can shop your supplements out now. But right now is going to be your drug cards and your Medicare Advantage plans. And definitely get educated on your Medicare Advantage plan so you know exactly what you're buying and what you're getting yourself into.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Speaking of educated on that, how many people haven't called the office and said free or free sneakers or free Perkins or free whatever?
They're definitely seeing the shiny object that they're talking about, but yet I always, want them to make an appointment so they know the ins and the outs, everything.
And when you watch me TV, every half-dead celebrity pitching a new plan.
Correct.
If I see Joe Namath one more time, I'm going to find where he lives and I'm going to strangle the guy because I am sick and tired of him interrupting Gunsmoke every day on my lunch hour. He goes on and on and on. Now it's Jimmy J.J. Walker, William Shatner. They're all doing it. So talk to somebody locally about this and really let them guide you through and get you into the car that fits for you. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll talk a little bit more about this. This is Your Retirement with Insurance 365 on News Talk WJG, and we're back with part 2 next. And welcome back to Your Retirement with Insurance 365. My name is Jeffrey Steffen. We do this the third Saturday of every month here at 7:30 on News Talk WJG. Angela Cradaville is with us and Jay Kenobi of Insurance 365. Find them at insuranceenagency365.com. They're located at 711 South 13th here in Norfolk, 402-371-3136. Best way to get a hold of them here. And this is the time of the year where Angela is at her best. She's got her game face on because it's Medicare selection season, right, Angela?
It is. It's annual election period, and that just starts October 15th and runs through December 7th. You don't have to do anything. It's advised that you should definitely check out your drug plans. Plans do change.
Do your homework. So let's back out from 30,000 feet because I want people to hear this. We've been doing this show for a couple of years, but I always assume that there are new listeners every month to our program, and we've been through this every year in October. But share with the folks what you do at Insurance 365.
Yep. I work at Insurance 365, and I am the Medicare expert. So that means I dedicate my full career to Medicare. I help people sign up for Medicare. I help guide them. There's a lot of different avenues. So when I meet with somebody, I always ask, are you on group health insurance? Because there's an option with that. If you're on group health insurance, you may not want to get on Medicare. I just met with somebody yesterday, and his best option was to stay with his wife's employer's group health insurance.
Okay, all right. It's always good when she's still working.
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's just specific rules. If you don't sign up for Medicare within a certain time frame, you're not going to be able to get Medicare right away. So it's very important you start talking to us 4 to 3 months prior to turning 65.
Okay.
Now, if you're on group health insurance and have not signed up for Part A and are thinking, or A and B, if you're thinking of retiring, get a hold of us prior to thinking of getting on Medicare, because there's steps. There's certain forms I will give you that you need to take to your employer to fill out, and then also you'll need to fill out. There's just steps you want to get done prior to getting on Medicare. Now, I had somebody this month come in a week before and needed it to start in October, and we got it done, but it's easier if you give us a little time.
Yeah, you're going to owe Angela a couple of bottles of whiskey for that job, right?
Right.
Yeah. Tip her well, ladies and gentlemen, for what she does. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot here a little bit. Not that she needed that because she's stressed out enough, but I want you to share maybe a story or two, Angela, of some people that you have come across where you've taught them something that they didn't realize. And you
that's every day.
Okay.
Every day.
All right. So share a story because we can all relate with real life situations.
Yeah. Just this week, I had a guy who his birthday was already in the summer and he didn't do anything. He had cancer. So he had Medicare. So I shouldn't say he didn't do anything. He did have Medicare. So that means Medicare will take care of 80%. Well, he didn't buy a supplement yet So he was paying that 20% of all those bills. And so he randomly came in, and I said, you came in just the nick of time, because you have 3 months prior to your birth month, the month of your birth month, and 3 months after. We were in that last 3 months.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I said, why didn't you come in before? And he just didn't know better. So got him hooked up with a plan, and now he's got the standard Medicare plan with a deductible of $233 compared to the 20% that he was paying prior.
Good Lord.
He was a guy, literally, I was shopping, and he said, hey, I need to go see your gal. If I wasn't shopping that day.
Right.
I mean, people just don't know better, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
They don't realize.
Just,
I mean,
you check out of it. It's so complicated, and you feel so inadequate in tackling this, and maybe you're a little embarrassed to go admit that to somebody, especially if you're a guy. But I want you to really sincerely consider this, ladies and gentlemen, as you listen to this. Don't just assume. Always go ask, and she's always there to answer your questions. And you have saved people money. I mean, just about every appointment that you have when you sit down and you make selections from year to year. I remember you telling me a story about a couple who had come in and they hadn't really changed anything in their Part D with their drug card, because they were afraid if they changed it, their rate might go up if they tried to move over to something else. And what they found out is moving was exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah, don't be scared. You need to talk to somebody local, somebody you trust, somebody you know, somebody if you have an issue or a problem or need help with something, you can walk in and they know you and you know them.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the differences in these plans that you're putting in front of people here. Do they vary from company to company? How does this all work?
So if you're buying a Medicare supplement is the same across the board. A Plan G, which is the most popular plan that people choose. Plan G is the same with a certain company, with every company. They have to follow the rules of Medicare, because Medicare pays the 80%, and then it tells the supplement company the 20% of what they have to pay of that portion. So there is no difference between companies. So it's very important to make sure if you do get a rate increase, to call us and see if you are eligible to make that move to save some money.
Are there enough changes year to year in these programs that people should review this yearly or every couple of years? I mean,
not
maybe there's
necessarily
not a right
on
answer to that.
There really isn't. Not necessarily on the supplement side. Now, open enrollment with your drug cards and your Medicare Advantage plans, those 100% you need to review. Those change year to year. Supplements, they stay the same as far as their rules. They're not going to change how they cover things overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. And this selection period now runs from now until December the 7th. So
Pearl Harbor.
Don't wait. Yeah, Pearl Harbor. Isn't that so appropriate? And it's the same every year. December 7th is it's well, not D-Day, but that's when it all started. Pearl Harbor Day. You need to have it done by then. And you probably don't want to wait until the 1st of December to do this either. It's always good to get a jump on this.
Allow time, yeah.
Yeah, make an appointment, go in there, ask questions, bring along your materials, and let Angela go through this and answer these questions and guide you. That's what this is really all about. Because, Jay, a few years ago, you kind of remade Insurance 365 because that's really your identity, is helping local folks through these things.
Absolutely. We had to start with an agency and had to find a niche, like any business. You had to find a focus point of where is this community going to respond and make us a viable business. Mm-hmm. And thank goodness for Angela and Adrian in my office, and we sat down and said, how are we going to be different, but yet still be like an agency, a physical location with a building with people, but we couldn't just do what everybody else was doing. So we created a niche market, and now we've just pushed that sincerity, that personalization, and that localization, and it's worked out well for us.
All right. Well, there you go. Find out more. You can find them online at insuranceagency365.com. They're located at 711 South 13th. Give them a call, 402-371-3136. And meet us here on the radio every third Saturday at 7:30 in the morning here on News Talk WJG. Angela, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Best of luck for the season.
Thanks.
We'll check back in with her in November and see how she's doing. And Jay, as always, appreciate your good guidance.
Appreciate you guys.
You betcha. All right, that is your retirement for this month. We'll talk to you again in November on News Talk WJEG.